in Vizag, suburbs of Vizag, a place called Gopalapatnam, and in the premises of LG Polymers. So to discuss more about, to know more about the tragedy and the chemical effects of the gas and also the health effects of that particular tragedy, we have Dr. Vivek Vardhan from Kamineni, assistant professor at the Kamineni Institute of Medical Sciences, and also from a consultant at Swasa Medical Institute. So welcome to the show, Vivek Vardhan garu. Srinivas here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. And
we'd like to know a little bit about the what exactly has happened in LG Polymers plant, and what kind of gas is it, and we will talk a little more on the general overall view what happened, please. I would really appreciate it.
Definitely. Yes, it is a very unfortunate tragedy that happened in the wee hours of the morning today in the Vizag, so in Gopalapuram. So styrene is the gas that has been leaked from one of those chambers. There are 12 chambers, huge chambers, where the gas was stored in the form of liquid state. It is not as such a gas. It will be in the form of liquid that will be vaporized into gas usually. The thing is, what could have caused this leakage? Stagnation, because all the factories are off since the past 40 days because of the coronavirus lockdown. So they were not in use. So all the gas, all the water, liquid form which is there in those containers was stagnant. Now stagnation, this styrene is a monomer. Stagnation of this monomer leads to polymerization. All right. When there's a lot of polymerization going on, then it leads to vaporization.
Okay.
That vapor at very high pressures, it is like a pressure cooker. The pressure is building inside every day because it is summer, the temperatures are high, and the gas, the liquid is not in use because of the lockdown. So the stagnation has led to all this problem, and suddenly a leak happened. And we should thank God a blast did not happen, because that is also a probability. Even a blast would have happened if the pressure, if this did not leak.
Okay.
So it leaked, and it affected, a lot of, like, more than 15 kilometers, involving more than 15 villages. It has spread like a wildfire, this gas, because it's gas, it can move very fast. So that has happened. Unfortunately, of the 12, one has been leaking, and the other one, but I think they've stopped it successfully, the other one. So other 10 are okay. So this is about the tragedy. This is how it happened.
Okay. What is the main purpose of this gas, and what do they use it for? Like, styrene. Is it? We have been reading that they've used it for the plastic to making the plastic products.
You're right.
Those kind of things. But can you elaborate a little more on this particular chemical component, please?
Yes, because it is a monomer. The monomers are, they mixed and they form into a polymer. This styrene polymer is used in making plastics. Different types of plastics, bendable plastics, or different kind of plastics, and also to make fiberglass, to make rubber, to make latex, and many other products. Styrene is used, every day, everywhere. It is very commonly used gas. Out of the 50 most common, highly abundant chemical gases, this is one of the 50, where it is used in many industries to manufacture many sorts of plastics. So that is what styrene is used for. It's not like only it is produced artificially. It is there even naturally. We know rubber trees, right? So rubber trees also produce styrene. So that is where it started. That is where they found, and then they've started manufacturing it.
Oh, good to know that particular point. Okay, it is there naturally too. It's available. Okay.
Even in tobacco smoke, we find styrene, and also in air pollution, we find styrene. Every day, everywhere, we find styrene gas. But it is in very, very, very low concentrations, like negligible. It won't even bother anybody. That's why we all don't know about it, because it is in very, very low concentration. Whereas here, it has shooted up to 27,000 ppm, which is very, very high.
And they've been saying that it is affecting only people within 3 kilometer radius, and beyond 3 kilometers, it's not that harm. So what is the significance of proximity to the location? Like, I mean, yes.
It is as simple as a bomb blast. When there's a bomb blast, people who are around, who are closer, will be affected the most.
Exactly.
The same way, people who are in 3 to 5 kilometer radius are affected the most, and even deaths were seen today. Almost 11 people have died directly or indirectly because of the styrene gas. So 3 to 5 kilometers is a very dangerous range, the zone. More than 5 to 15 kilometers, there can be effects like burning sensation in the eyes. There can be headaches. There can be confusion. There can be a drunkard feeling. They'll sway just like they had an alcohol. So things like that will happen, but not respiratory failure. More than 5 kilometers, it may not cause the respiratory failure like breathing
Okay.
difficulties and other stuff. So that is what less than 3 kilometers it has caused a lot of problem. Apart from burning sensation and the headaches and
Vomiting and then, okay.
and also other mucous membranes, GI symptoms like vomitings, yeah, all these are seen, and deaths were also seen because of respiratory failure.
Gotcha. See, every day in the pollution and a polluted environment, I mean, we've been inhaling a lot of other gases too. Why this particular styrene is creating these kind of side effects and also harmful to the body? What exactly is it? How is it affecting our body chemically or health-wise, please?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think everybody will be thinking the same. There are a lot of gases, thousands of harmful gases in the air that are released from the polluted industries or the vehicles. But why only with styrene is this happening? This is because of the concentration that we are exposed to. What other gases concentration we are exposed is like very, very minimal. Even though they have side effects, they have effects on our body, but that is long term. You see, other gases cause long term effects. Whereas styrene, it also causes long term effects if you are exposed to a minimal quantities. But today morning, what happened was not minimal quantity. It was much, much more than that. Accepted levels of styrene is 100 to 200 ppm in the factory limits or in the areas of the factories. A person, if he is exposed for more than 600 ppm for more than 3 hours, he will start developing symptoms. But here, the concentration was much more than 27,000 ppm, and they were exposed for more than 3 hours or 6 hours. It was in the wee hours of the morning, so people were sleeping, and this gas doesn't have any pungent smell. It has a sweet odor, sweet smell. So people wouldn't have even realized that there's some other gas that has caused all this problem. And people who have realized started having any burning sensation in the eyes and other symptoms. So this is how it has affected. It is because of the concentration. I think I'm answering your question. It is because of the high concentration. It is because of the high concentration that we don't see other gases in high concentration every day. We don't have industries that release high concentrations of specific gas every day. So that is why this has caused this problem acutely, like in a single day, in single hour. It has caused so many problems.
Gotcha. Why is it affecting the respiratory system? I mean, they say it is upper respiratory and also it's affecting the lungs. So what exact mechanism is it, I mean, blocking in the respiratory system? In what way?
Yeah.
Hello?
So this styrene is converted into styrene oxide in our body.
Your video is frozen, sir, Vivek Garu.
Yeah, even I think
maybe just mute and unmute the video once, please.
I did that.
Okay, maybe my end. Please continue.
I think it is moving. Is it okay now?
Yeah, for me it's fine. Please go ahead, sir. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. So the styrene will get converted into styrene oxide in our body by cytochrome P450 system. So that is further converted into other metabolites which have hazardous effects on our body. Exact mechanism of what happens, which cell is involved, what is the chemical reaction going inside a body is not known yet because of this. So what happens generally is it will go inside and irritate the membranes, and that is probably because it will involve the cytochrome P450 this thing in the liver also. It has many other metabolites that will cause a lot of problem, but the specific mechanism is not yet described anywhere. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, I can hear you. Sorry about the small interruption from my end.
No problem, no problem. Yes. So that's what I was saying. There was no specific mechanism mentioned anywhere as of now.
Yeah, we heard. I mean, you mentioned earlier that, I mean, directly or indirectly. I mean, you said, I mean, the direct deaths are less and the indirect deaths are more. Can you elaborate more on that one, please, on this one,
Yes.
from this particular gas, please?
Yes. So direct, as in people who tried to stop the leakage. There were two people who were trying to stop the leakage. Both of them unfortunately have expired. So that could be directly because they've inhaled the gas from the closest, that was the closest encounter anybody had. So they've directly tried to stop the gas leak. So both of them have died. Apart from that, other people who, I think 3 or 4 people have died because of inhaling the gas and having breathing difficulty, whereas 4 to 5 people have died because of, I'll tell you a few examples where MBBS student, he felt a burning sensation in the eyes, and I think he was searching for some water or something like that. He went out to the balcony and I think he slipped from there and he fell from the building. That's how he died, because of the accident. And the second example, what I have read in the news, is a person had, was discovered in a well. Probably he was so desperate for water to decrease his burning sensation, maybe he drowned in water. And I've also heard of instances where people are found in drainages and also ponds on the side of the road. So these are the incidences where I think, apart from styrene, drowning also could have played a role in death of these patients, and also from the top floor the person had fallen. So I think that is because of trauma. So these are the indirect deaths what I meant.
I got you. Okay. And what are the long-term effects of this exposure to this particular gas? I mean, we heard, I mean, the women, especially the women, I mean, who get exposed to this one for more than 6 months or so, bearing a child would be a problem for them. We have been hearing those kind of
Yes.
points too. Can you elaborate a little more on? And then also, it's very severe on children. Children will not be able to recoup. Yeah, and elderly people. I would really appreciate if you can elaborate on long-term health effects on the children, women, and other population, please.
Sure. So there is something called as a society called Environmental Protection Agency from the US, and also CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, had done a study where women working in styrene industries, like industries where styrene gas is used, they have studied them, and they found if they're pregnant, there is increased risk of getting aborted. There is higher risk of abortions, and also decreased chances of getting pregnant. That is what they have observed in women. But there can be many confounding factors, like confounding as in many other factors that we have not measured in the study. So we can't really say, yes, it is because of styrene. But yes, possible that it can cause abortions. So long-term, that is all because of the long-term exposure, not just acute exposure as in this case. Apart from that, other chronic side effects of styrene exposure are people will start having headaches frequently. They may go to depression. They may have balance abnormalities. They may sway as if they have taken alcohol, they have consumed alcohol. And also other side effects such as CNS abnormalities, and also neuromuscular junction weakness is also seen because of this styrene. And some people also had hearing loss, people working in these industries in the previous studies. And the most important thing is few patients had leukemias and also lymphomas, that is blood cancers. Even blood cancers can occur because of chronic styrene exposure. So all these are chronic effects of exposure to styrene gas. And other question you asked was
the children. I mean, children are bearing it very seriously. Yeah.
How about children? Yes, everybody is equally susceptible to styrene, but more so in children and also in adults who have other diseases such as respiratory diseases like asthma or chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases and other interstitial lung diseases, where there is already less oxygen in severe COPD and ILDs. So they will be struggling to breathe. So that may cause earlier respiratory fatigue and failure in those patients, leading to death. And in children, also it is very dangerous, this gas, because once you feel breathless, you take a lot of breaths. The more you breathe, the more styrene you inhale. The more you inhale, that causes earlier failure of your organs. So that is how it affects all the organs.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, any let us say you said, I mean, these side effects will be there if you have a long-term exposure to the gas. See now, I mean, today we have an incident. I mean, where it has got leaked and it spread to few miles. And will there be a long-term effect on the people within those 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers, or will it go away and will come back to normal? I mean, just like we have seen a pale place like Bhopal, where the effect was long term. I mean,
Yes.
even after the incident, I mean, people been dying after like, I mean, few months or those. So what do you see? Do you see any similarities or any side effects, long term side effects on the people in that area?
That is an excellent question. Thing I would like to make clear is weight of the styrene gas is heavier than air. The density is high, the weight is high. So good part is in 3 to 5 days that gas is going to settle down, on Earth. It will come down, and so because the weight is high, so it will automatically come down. So that is one good thing about styrene. I don't think there will be any chronic effects. People don't have to worry about that. Mostly it will settle down. And if you have rains, or if you create artificial rains there, using some kind of artificial rains, I think that will help even decreasing the levels in the environment quicker than 5 days. So it
Gotcha.
may not have long-term effects like Bhopal gas. It is not like isocyanate gas.
Well, very, very good point. I mean, you brought in. I mean, I've been reading on the news saying that, I mean, authorities have been recommending people to wear the wet masks.
Yes, yes. You're
That,
right.
as you said, I mean, the rain may help in reducing the. So,
Yes.
how is it kind of helping the wet mask? The rain is going to help lowering the styrene levels in the air.
Just like this concept is just like, the pollution levels fall drastically after a rain. After rainfall, when you breathe air, you can, without any measurement with any machine, you can say that air is fresh. Especially after the rain. That means with when all the pollutants, they are mixed with rain, the water, they will take it down along with those. Few countries like Malaysia and China, where there's high levels of air pollution, what they do is they use drones to spray water, especially in the signals, the signal areas where traffic is jammed or it is stagnant. That will decrease the concentration of pollutants. The same concept applies here. So when that gas is mixed with water, it will come along with water. It will come down. So it will actually clean. If there's a good rainfall there, I think, but in 2 days it will come back to normal. And think about wet mask. What the concept is, when they breathe through the wet mask, probably the gas will be, holded by the water inside the wet mask. That is the concept.
Gotcha.
Also, drinking more water is very helpful, because whatever you inhale is going into your body, into your blood. Through your lungs, it goes into your blood along with oxygen. So what happens when you drink more water? All that is filtered out very fastly by the kidneys. So drink more
Detox.
water is what they say. Yeah, it's like detox. Yeah, it is.
Excellent. That's and I mean here people are saying that, I mean, um, the long term since the long term effects may not be much here, but how do you compare with the Bhopal? I mean, the Bhopal methyl isocyanate, I mean, the gas that was leaked. So how do you compare methyl isocyanate with the styrene or vinyl benzene? I mean, what is involved in LG polymers? Can you
Yeah.
compare between these two, please?
Yes. So the tragedy that happened in Bhopal in 1984, that was also in the midnight. So people were sleeping. people inhale the gas, and many people have died on the same day because that cyanide gas is very, very toxic, and the rate of death is quite high when you compare to that of styrene gas. So there were many deaths acutely, and also the long-term effects of the cyanide in our body are like a myriad of effects, like numerous. So they've caused different types of diseases, also cancers, also, and people have died. And whereas styrene, on the other hand, is not as dangerous as isocyanate, but it has other problems like burning sensation, other acute problems. It doesn't really have long-term side effects because, like I told, in 4 to 5 days, this gas is going to go down, unless until there is a leak from other chamber.
Thanks. Okay.
This is going to be a problem like isocyanate gas.
Gotcha.
And also previously till date, there were no deaths recorded because of inhalation of styrene. Whereas with methyl isocyanate gas, there were many deaths recorded, and it is a very, very toxic and poisonous gas. So they're completely different. And this gas, styrene, it is used very, very at a very high concentrations everywhere to manufacture many things. And 50% of the benzene that is produced in the world is used along with styrene. So it is such a important chemical,
or commonly used product.
That is commonly used in plastic formation.
Plastic. Okay. So I mean, when you say it's not as harm as the gas involved in the Bhopal incident, so I mean, do you think these people whoever got exposed to this particular gas, will they be able to come back to normal? I mean, when they will be able to, how long does it take, or will they be able to come out normal without any side effects?
Yes, this is a very good question. I think everybody in that area would be thinking the same. What would happen to us if not today, tomorrow, or one year later, or 10 years later? So this could be the most common troublesome question that is going on in their heads too. The answer for this is you can monitor the concentration of styrene in your body, how much you have inhaled, how much is there in your body, how much has it been expelled out, by testing urine sample. Urine sample will show styrene and its metabolites. The higher the concentration, that means styrene is still inside you. The lower the concentrations, that means your kidneys are, excreting it outside. I think if with good treatment, with good hydration, and going away from the place of the tragedy, in patients who doesn't have acute respiratory failure, like who may come out of the ventilator, or who may have not gone onto the ventilator, they may recover in few days. I'm not sure how many days, but it may be 2 days to 1 week. I think they will definitely recover.
Okay. So will there be any long-term effects on them? Like,
I don't think so, because body is not getting exposed to that every day. It's been only 1 day that they're exposed, and it is like, getting something like burn, so something like that. So it will heal in few days, just like that. This will go away in few days, but I don't think it will have any long-term effects, because there was no daily exposure to the gas. It can either be acute, or if it continues for few months, definitely for few months, then there will be chronic effects, but not for 2 days or 1 day or 5 days.
Gotcha. Okay. And what will be the measures, I mean, anybody should take, like, let us say, I mean, usually at homes, I mean, even in US, I mean, we kind of keep a device which will be like measuring the carbon monoxide levels in the house, and it will give an alarm, and we will be cautioned, and then we will take measures. Some will open the windows and go out, and those kind of things. So for when we do such things for small places at home, so what do you think the industries has done? I mean, I'm sure this is a big issue. Yes. So don't you think they would have some alarm system? I mean, where it should have triggered and caution the authorities or their own employees? So do you think what the system was in place, or was it? What do you think of those measures?
Yes, that's a good question. So Yeah, like you said, we can monitor the levels of the gas. Once it shoots up, then the alarm will,
Sure.
alert everyone. The thing is, the factory was in lockdown for the past 40 days. There was literally no one in the factory. And I
Mm.
think they started to open the factory like a day before this happened. So I think people were alarmed, and two people went there to stop the leakage, but they died on the spot.
Mm.
They died on the spot. So probably that is why others may not have entered there, or they didn't realize about it. I think the investigation is going on about what happened, why didn't they switch it off, or why was it triggered. As far as I think, it is because of the stagnation that the polymerization has happened, and that led to vaporization and increased pressure. That would have caused the leakage. Scientifically, that is what people are saying, but we really don't know unless until the investigation is done. So we have to wait for what happened actually there. But like you said, every industry or every factory should have all these precautions in place, because these are human lives you're dealing with. You should be extremely careful. You can't take it for granted. You have to put all the safety measures in place at any cost, and anything like this should be condemned and it should not happen again. They should see to it that it won't be repeated anywhere, not only in the state or this country, in the entire world. Things like this shouldn't happen, because people who are innocent, they don't even know that this is going to happen, but they have lost their lives. Some people have lost their lives in sleep. So these things, government and companies should try to form more stringent rules for this. So I hope they do all that.
Okay, I mean, do they have industries have the personal production equipment? Let us say in Japan, when you have the earthquake issue, they had the special suits. Suits, I mean, so they wore, and then they were able to go to the nuclear reactor, and they were able to fix it and come back. So, I mean, as you said, I mean, it's a very unfortunate to hear that two technicians died on the spot when they went inside to fix it. When they knew this gas is leaked, and were they not provided with any of those suits to protect themselves? What do you think? I mean, do you have any idea? I mean, those kind of system in India, I mean, or anywhere in India, do
I
you have
think
any idea on those things?
they should have all this protective gear, because they should be prepared for any kind of disaster anytime, because we can't really expect them to happen on a certain day. So I think they would have been all this equipment, but I'm not sure whether the system, everywhere the system has been like it came to a standstill because of this corona, the COVID. So I really don't know what happened there, or was there any miscommunication, or the place where it was stored was not known, or maybe they didn't know that styrene could kill people, because this was the first time it happened. Maybe they have not anticipated the event. So with that all will come into light, I think, in near future. So what exactly happened? But like you said, they should have all this PPE. I've seen in media a person wearing that today, but I'm not really sure whether the factory people do wear that frequently.
Gotcha. Okay, well, let's hope. I mean, that we will talk on the topic at the end. And so we've been talking about the effect on the people and the children and women. But what is its effect on the animals? I mean, at least we can express and we can seek and get an attention and get some help. But I mean, animals, I mean, they cannot say and they cannot express. So what is our effect on animals of this gas?
Oh, yes, very, very good question. Animals are affected even more than human beings. They are affected even more than human beings by this styrene gas. That is what studies say. They are affected more. There are animal deaths also. And I've seen some footages where cows or buffaloes were just, they were lying on the road. I think they have become unconscious too. People are trying to wake them up, give some water. They're trying different things, and that is what happened to the animals that we see. But there are many other animals that we don't see with our eyes. Then maybe there are a lot of mice, because studies are done on mice, these rats. So it is very, very poisonous to the rats. They usually die because of this respiratory failure. the rats also. So maybe we don't know how many deaths have happened because of this. There, a lot of animals would have died, a lot of birds would have died, a lot of animals in the ponds or lakes would have died. So maybe that will come into light. When as this days go on, the time will tell us what happened, what really happened. We should see.
Got
There's a lot of as bad as in human beings or even more. So that is a sad part.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what is an antidote? Let us say if I get exposed to this gas. So, what are the measures I should take to save myself from getting to the adverse situation? I mean, what are the measures or what are the things I should follow to be safe and healthy?
Yes. Thing is, just like in coronavirus, just like in COVID, there is no specific treatment for this. There is no specific antidote yet. It was not discovered till now. So the only treatment is symptomatic. You hydrate the person once you test his urine. When he gets admitted, you check his levels. Then you keep hydrating him and give symptomatic treatment. If he has breathlessness and decreased oxygen, you give him oxygen. If he has a lot of difficulty breathing, he can't breathe on his own, you put him on ventilator. So you monitor all that. Along with that, you monitor his urine every day. You monitor his urine output every day, and also the urinary styrene and also urinary styrene metabolites. And then you come to a conclusion day by day, saying his levels are decreasing. So that means he is becoming better. So that is what it is, like symptomatic treatment. You just have to support his life until he recovers by himself. There is no specific treatment whatsoever. Just like in COVID.
Oh, so how long this procedure will be? Like, I mean, will it be like 4 or 5 days or a week or 10 days?
I think, in my view, I think it should be less than a week. My
Less
view.
than a week. Okay.
But we really don't know until the time passes by, because this is the first time in the human history that styrene gas has caused deaths. It has been a disaster because of the styrene gas. It's the first time I've not come across any other articles in worldwide. So I think we should just wait and see what is the time course that is taken for complete recovery. What are any possible chronic effects that could be there? We really don't know, but I don't think they'll be there because it is just a acute exposure. We have to wait and see for that.
Gotcha. Okay. And what kind of advice, I mean, or suggestions do you give to the companies? I'm sure this is not the only place where the styrene gas is being used. I mean, in India, there are many other companies, let it be in Hyderabad or Delhi or Mumbai or many other industrial areas. I'm sure they will be using this gas. So, what measures or suggestions do you recommend the companies to follow at this point of time after this the incident?
Yes. So I think every company, I think they should check their plants or chambers or reactors, whatever they call them, because this is summer season in India. There's a lot of high temperatures going on, and the factories are not in operation because of the lockdown. Most of the industries or factories are, shut. So I don't think there is every engineer or every personnel to look after their specific jobs. I think there will be a person who will look after the temperature of the container. So people who are missing, maybe because of the lockdown, probably it was not monitored regularly. Definitely it was not monitored because people were not there in the factory at all for 40 days. And I think that is directly related to this, because temperatures, when they increase, it's like Boyle's law, and when there is an increase in temperature, there is increase in pressure, and I think that has caused this vaporization. Every factory should take measures, take a look at their chambers of whatever harmful gases they have. Apart from styrene, there are thousands, not if thousands, there are hundreds of gases that could be harmful to human or any other animal. They should check all those chambers, all those pressurized reactors, whether they are getting polymerized or they are getting excess vaporized. They should. I'm sure there will be a pressure monitor for every chamber. They should make sure that all the pressure monitors are showing the normal pressures, not elevated pressures. Apart from this, all the departments, every department of industry should be cautious about what could happen, especially after this disaster. They should be very careful in going through all the stringent checking processes before they go into full operation again. Because just like how if you don't use a car for a long time, it may not work later on. Just in the same way, may not work the same like they used to before after this long break. I don't think there was such a long break before the COVID. I don't think there was to any factory, to any industry, or to any business, there has not been so big break. So machines will tend to get into repairs, and they may go out of control like what happened today morning. So I think every industry should just focus on the maintenance part and carry on with their operations. And I think government and all these companies, they should make more stringent rules, as in because this COVID is new, this type of situation is new for this world. They should learn. I think they should make more sensible and also strict rules for all the factories and industries that are out there. And one more thing I heard in the news today at around 7, I think like that. You're right. That is a very good question. So because people are hearing a new name nowadays, like Corona is a new name, COVID is a new name that people have been hearing entire world. So people in the villages may think styrene is something like that. There's every chance that Corona styrene kuda vachindante ippudu. That kind of talk may happen. But I would like to make it clear that styrene
specific guys usually, I mean, in general, I mean, I would say in this environment, do we blame it on Corona, or do we have any responsible agency who should have been more proactive and then taken care of this one? So what do you think of this particular situation? Who does the blame go to, in your view?
Yes. I don't think it's just Corona. I think everybody has to take the responsibility, people who are running that, because there is always time for everything, even though it is a hard time that everybody is facing. I'm sure, people who are well versed with all those maybe having an idea about stagnation, maybe having an idea about vaporization that could happen in these chambers. It is not new to them. It is new to us because we don't really know that subject. But people who are well educated there, people from other countries, Koreans, I think they will be there. They may be knowing about all this, but I'm sure they would have not anticipated. They would have not think this would happen. But they should have thought of this too. The worst thing has to be thought, because it is a gas and people's life are at stake. So I think everybody has to be held responsible. I think an investigation is going on. It will tell who is at fault.
Gotcha. Yes, who kind of did not follow the procedures or other. So do you think there are enough procedures? Okay, because this fact has been there since 1961. So from the government also, do they have enforced strict measures to protect the environment or protect the people? Do you think the government also has done enough given enough guidelines? Do you think we are Indian? I mean, not only Indian government. I mean, any government. Do you think they have those guidelines which can protect the people from these kind of instance?
Now, that's a good question. I think government and the factory are doing a good job since a long time, because they're there since many decades actually. Nothing like this happened before, and accidents are called accidents for a reason. They're not planned. They're not this thing. So I think it's just unfortunate that this happened. Governments and factories, they may be taking good care, but they didn't anticipate this. Maybe that's why this happened. And a good question that you raised just now, something into my mind, that we study, I think, to know what is the effect of all these gases around that factory. I think a study has to be done, by someone to check for any kind of chronic effects of styrene gas or any other harmful gas that they use in that industry. Are there any chronic effects in that population of 5 to 10 kilometer radius? That will tell us how well the company is monitoring it over the past few decades. I think that will give us a good clue.
Gotcha. Thank you very much for your time and information. And do you have anything to share with our audience?
Yes. Well, one thing is, this styrene gas tragedy is a really sad thing that had happened. People have been affected. People have been died. More than 10 people have died, and more than 1,000 have went to the hospital today. But luckily, only 300 got admitted there. Even though that is a high number, I hope everybody recovers as soon as possible. There should not be even one more death because of this, because it can be completely treated. It is not a virus that spreads. it is just a gas. It'll every minute that concentration keeps coming down because there is no direct exposure. So I think everybody should become normal, but we can't really say how many people may get severely affected or may even lose their life because of this. But hopefully no one apart from those 10 will lose their lives anymore. And there's no need to worry other people who are in those areas in 5 to 10 kilometer radius. Don't panic. Don't keep your doors open. If you have a place outside that 10 kilometers radius, it's better to go away for a few days or a week. And if you are staying there, if you are bound to stay there, then use wet mask like the government had given guidelines, and wash your eyes frequently. Put a lot of water in your eyes because that is a mucous membrane and gas can get absorbed from there. And wash your mouth. And if you're going outside and coming back home, you change your clothes. You avoid going out anyway. This is a period of lockdown where people are anyway not going out. So and apart from that, if you have any symptoms, any burning sensation of eyes, any burning sensation of skin as well, a person told as if his body is covered by mirchi powder. That is the intensity of burning sensation he had. So any burning sensation in any part of skin or any mucosal surface or any vomitings or any motions or any kind of respiratory breathing difficulties, any kinds of headaches or something, like a swaying, just like they had taken alcohol, any of these symptoms, even from now to the next few days, you may immediately go to your doctor, get a medical attention. Government is there to help you. I think there's a lot of big team formed there because of this task force has been formed. So I think people should take help of that and be alert and just not panic. Just be aware of all these things and take precautions. Use wet mask so that that gas will be stopped by the mask as well as the water inside that. And government, I think maybe it's hard, but I think they can plan artificial rain in that area, 5 to 10 kilometer radius. I think that should help, but I don't know how practical is that. So things like this will help. Panic is not the answer. Just awareness and taking care is the answer. So everybody, please know about this and let people know about it by sharing your knowledge. That's it. I thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek Vardhan, a pulmonologist, and thank you for sharing all the information and the inputs. Have a nice rest of the evening.
Thank you very much. I'm glad. Thank you.